No, that's why. Okay. So I'm going to try to match that this one. Oh, sorry.
How you doing, Mayor?
Hey.
All right. Could you say your name for us?
Angela Darden.
Spell that last name. Oh, spell both of them.
Angela, Angela, Darden, Darden.
All right. And you'll have to kind of speak, project a little bit. Yeah.
He don't want you to move. He wants you to stay closer to me.
You're the microphone holder. Hey, just say your name so they have it.
I'm Minister Dominique Alexander, DOMINIQUEALEXANDER, President of the Next Generation Action Network. We are here today. Angela Darden is representative of the Fort Worth community. She is an individual that has, during the tenure of Chief Fitzgerald as Chief of Police of Fort Worth, has worked with him tirelessly. One of the things that I wanted to do as the president of the Next Generation Action Network was just to speak about the accounts that I had with Chief Fitzgerald and what he was trying to do with the city of Fort Worth. During his tenure, me and Chief Fitzgerald did not agree on everything. But at the end of the day, we was able to work on a common good and a common goal to be able to make Fort Worth Police Department a better police department to interact with the community and work with the community. During Chief Fitzgerald's tenure, there was a number of different high-profile cases. We talk about Jacqueline Craig, we talk about a number of them. And many people might characterize those things and some of those cases as a failure of his tenure, and there were some that Chief Fitzgerald had as a very officer after the officer assaulted the young lady dealing with an assault at an apartment complex. However, many people did not agree with Chief Fitzgerald and how he responded to the situation of Jacqueline Craig. But at the end of the day, as an activist that understands state law and understands practicality, we know that in the state of Texas has some of the most pro-cop laws there is. And I don't care what police chief you may have. We also know that Chief Fitzgerald did not come in a city that was receptive to change that Chief Fitzgerald was trying to bring. This city has a deep-rooted problem with the culture of policing and deep-rooted culture of racism in this city. However, it has been displayed by the lack of response from city leadership in regards to the mayor and the council at termination. I heard City Manager David Cook talk about the Chief of Police lack of commitment to Fort Worth. I heard City Manager David Cook talk about a number of characterizations of misjudgments, but he did not define what they were. I heard the city manager characterize a situation that happened in D.C., but when the chief of police gave him to give a different account as different from the local Fort Worth rep given, he didn't even use or call those individuals. I want to know why City Manager David Cook did not call the Chicago Police Commissioner. Why didn't he call the Boston Police Commissioner? All of these individuals have been quoted to give the same account that Chief Fitzgerald has given. Also, I want to know why David Cook said that the Chief Fitzgerald did not have a commitment to this city when Chief Fitzgerald only asked him for a small pay raise that gave him a industry standard towards police chiefs that deal with the population that Chief Fitzgerald has to deal with here in this city. Also, Chief Fitzgerald asked for 2 more years added to his contract. And the city manager responded in an unflattering way. I saw a professional going to explore his options. And when that professional explored his option, he became a finalist in the city of Baltimore. Due to the illness of his son, he immediately withdrew his name from consideration. But this council and this city government felt like that was disrespect to them. And yet at the end of the day, they want to tell the people and the citizens that this chief did not have any, that's wrong. Also, one thing, and I'm going to pass it over to Angela real quick. One thing I want to be very clear. There was a recent whistleblower that came out with why the city of Fort Worth did not address or make public of the hacking incident and putting people's data and information at risk for years. We know that Chief Fitzgerald was heavily involved in that. David Cook and other city council and the mayor was not happy about the involvement of Chief Fitzgerald in this investigation. We're asking that the city of Fort Worth, if they don't fix it, what we're going to do is the Next Generation Action Network is going to file a Department of Justice complaint, and we're going to ask the FBI to investigate it. Because at the end of the day, we want to find out whether it's true. Did $500,000 of the city's money, or the taxpayers' money, go to a thief? And how much more money went? Because if a conversation about this was made private in executive session, all of those elected officials have a duty to make sure that the citizens that they are elected to serve is privy of that information, and that the public know that. So,
Okay. I guess here for you.
Actually, why don't we move on the mics?
Okay.
Shout.
Thank you. Flip it over.
okay.
Okay, I'm officially in line. I have my glasses together.
Just take a break and then.
No, I can see. I mean, thank God for the protective cover.
You put it in the jacket pocket.
Okay, that works.
That wouldn't give a good sound. All right. Okay. Look that way. Keep looking. Okay, now. Try to ease you in. All right.
Okay, I'd like to speak on Chief Fitzgerald's interaction with the community. Me being a grandmother, I was able to call him on his cell and, confide in him. My daughter was being bullied at an elementary school. I called the chief and asked him, could you come down and talk to these children? Let them know what the consequences are to bullying, where it would lead to, and help them to understand that this is not the direction they need to go in. He spent an hour, maybe 2, with the children at that school. Their behavior in that class changed. 90% of those children got better grades. 90% of them. My granddaughter saw it on the news. She's 10 years old. She saw it on the news. She remembered Chief Fitzgerald coming to her school. She wanted to know why he was fired, because he was a good guy. If that's not public relations, if he's not intact with the public, I'm sorry. What do you call it? We had a books and breakfast in Como at the recreation center. We asked Chief Fitzgerald to come down. Not only did he and his staff show up to feed the kids, he sat there and let these children mark on his staff, have you known, to do that. I brought countless people to his office to set up different programs for the community action, as far as taking care of the elderly, getting air conditioners put in their homes, having their homes painted, the yards cut, and he was all for it. The man was in touch with the community. He went into meetings with the community, and he did not call them a bitch fest, as some people have on our council and in our city. This man has victims' parents of police brutality and held conversations with them. And I'm one of them. I never spoke to another officer after my brother was killed until Chief Fitzgerald. And he opened his heart and his doors to hear my complaints and to make sure that they were heard. He opened his doors to the Battle family. We sat in on a meeting that started at 3 and did not end till 7. And he brought all his chiefs, the detectives, and he listened to that family's problems. He listened to their pain. Now, if that's not in tune with your community, if that's not community standing behind chief and chief standing behind the community, I'd like to know what it is. The mayor has never